So I spent most of my career thinking about how America stays both secure and competitive as technology changes. Journey has taken me from the U.S. Navy to state government in both Colorado and California, to protecting the North American electric grid at NERC, to the Department of Homeland Security, several tech startups in Silicon Valley and Colorado, and today to NVIDIA. I've seen technology challenges from a lot of different vantage points, and one thing's clear. The decisions we're making today about AI and infrastructure that supports it won't just shape the technology industry, they'll shape America's future for decades to come. The race has already started, and the U.S. is adding data center capacity faster today than any time in history, and the building has barely begun. According to Oxford Economics, data center construction is set to grow to 4.5% of total U.S. construction activity in 2030. Industry estimates now put AI infrastructure investment in the trillions of dollars over the next several years. So here's the question that should keep every state government leader up at night. Where's all that investment going to land? That's not a rhetorical question because the race is underway. Right here in Florida, there are roughly 110 data center facilities operating today and 8 major hyperscale projects in the pipeline. One project in Polk County represents $2.6 billion in private investment on former phosphate mining land. Florida is serious about competing for this investment, and so are Texas, Virginia, Arizona, Louisiana, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, and others. On the other hand, at least 11 states have proposed legislation to restrict or ban data center development. This highlights how decisions made at the state and local government level can impact who the winners are. I was in a meeting a few weeks ago with federal policymakers talking about the state of AI. Most of the conversation revolved around the pace of change and the ability to manage it effectively. And I tried to emphasize to them how important it is to understand that AI isn't a force of nature. It's technology being designed, built, deployed, and governed by people and institutions. The real question is whether America will shape how this technology develops or allow others to shape it for us. Will we build the infrastructure, the security, the workforce, and the rules needed to lead, or will we hesitate while our competitors move faster? That's the choice in front of us, and there's no time to dally. We're in a period for consequential decisions, especially for policymakers. And we can spend that time fearing AI and reacting to doomsday headlines, or we can spend the time building resilience, modernizing defenses, and embracing what the technology can do for America. I spent more than 30 years working in the cybersecurity and technology space, and there's a phrase I like: update your priors. Update your priors means revising what you believe when the evidence shifts. We usually get time to do that gracefully, but artificial intelligence isn't being that courteous. By the time most people think they understand AI, it's already changed. And that includes me, unfortunately, and that's not a comfortable thing to admit. AI is advancing quickly, and the conversations around it seem to move even faster. I've revised this talk 2 times in the past 5 days just to shifts in events in AI over the past week. That can make the technology seem mysterious, but it's not magic, and it's not beyond human understanding. It's a set of technologies built by people operating on infrastructure, data, and software. The challenge is that too much of the public conversation is shaped by hype, jargon, and speculation instead of practical explanation. And sadly, we've let AI and data centers be defined by their opponents rather than by people building them and the society that depends on them. So if you find yourself confused about AI, trust me, you are not alone. Everyone here will influence the conditions under which AI will be built, powered, used, trusted, and governed. The AI era won't be just decided in Silicon Valley or in Washington, D.C. A meaningful part of it will be decided in your own state capitals. When people speak about AI, they usually talk about models, chips, software, and data, and that matters, of course, but I want to start somewhere more practical. Every state in this room is either going to be part of building the infrastructure this era demands, or it's going to watch someone else capture that investment and those jobs, because AI is infrastructure. Here's what I mean. AI infrastructure isn't infrastructure for one company or even one industry. It's shared infrastructure for everyone. Think about the interstate highway system. We didn't build highways because America needed more concrete. We built them because the entire economy depended on moving people, goods, and ideas. Everything: commerce, healthcare, agriculture, manufacturing, education, and national defense depended on highways. Infrastructure creates value because everyone builds on top of it. And AI infrastructure is the same and becoming the next layer of shared national infrastructure. And just like the highway system, everything will depend on it. Hospitals, universities, manufacturing, farmers, small businesses, and state governments. Its value won't come from who owns it. Its value will come from what everyone builds on top of it. And like every great infrastructure project, it has to be built. It needs power, land, fiber connectivity, and permits. It also needs people like construction workers, electricians, welders, operators, and engineers. Again, according to Oxford Economics, electrician jobs are expected to grow by 9% and HVAC jobs by 8% between 2024 and 2034. And it needs communities willing to host the facilities that make all that possible. But AI infrastructure isn't abstract. It lands in communities, and that means the AI era has a geography and a labor market. Communities are watching, and they're asking whether they'll share in the benefits, whether costs will be managed responsibly, and whether they're being treated as partners rather than bystanders. Those questions deserve honest answers. The challenge for policymakers isn't to avoid the questions, but rather to answer them without losing sight of the opportunity that AI represents. And that's why states matter, because these decisions are being made at the state and local government level in legislatures, economic development offices, planning departments, and public utility commissions. Data centers are being built across the country, and not only in the traditional technology hubs. We heard Aaron Bindley mention this yesterday about how data centers in Louisiana are bringing immense opportunities to small communities on farmland where traditional farm economics no longer work. The same thing is happening in communities across the country. It's a new era for communities that have been waiting for this next generation of high-value jobs. If this infrastructure doesn't get built here, on American soil, under American laws, with American workers, and powered by American energy, it will get built somewhere else. That means someone else gets the jobs, someone else gets the expertise, someone else gets the supplier base, someone else gets the investment, and maybe most importantly, someone else who could be an adversary country gets to set the rules and the norms. For a state leader, this should be clarifying. So the question isn't whether AI is coming, it's already here. The question is whether your state is ready to capture that opportunity while managing the practical realities that come with it. The answer is to build with discipline, transparency, and with reliability in mind, from the very beginning, and build it in a way that reflects a fundamental American principle, that decisions closest to the people are usually the ones that best reflect reality. Which brings me to what may be the single most important issue every state will have to confront. Energy is the first AI policy. Let me put it plainly. You can't have an AI strategy without an energy strategy. The state can have the best economic development team in the country. It can have a talented workforce. It can have available land and a good business climate. But if power isn't available, reliable, affordable, and scalable on a practical timeline, investment will move where it is. AI is obviously creating new electricity demand, but that shouldn't become the catch-all explanation for every concern around electricity. Manufacturing, technology, population growth, and the ordinary upward trend of the nation's economy are all adding pressure. The North American Electric Reliability Corporation, where I served as Vice President and Chief Security Officer, is the reliability organization that oversees the North American power grid. In 2024, NERC was already calling out AI data centers as part of the large load challenge facing grid planners. but the AI revolution has moved faster than the planning process. This means we're playing catch-up on electricity planning that really should already be underway. We don't need to pretend this is easy because it isn't. States are going to have to think seriously about generation, transmission, distribution, and how projects move from concept to construction. They're going to have to ask whether permitting systems are predictable enough for major investments while still being honest with their communities. And they're going to have to do all that while keeping faith that households and small businesses that care about reliability and cost. That's not a technology problem alone, it's also a leadership problem. The good news is that states have real leverage here. They understand their own energy mix, they understand their own communities and where growth is happening. They know which permitting processes are clear and which ones have become a maze. They know which regions need workforce investment and which local colleges are ready to help. That kind of judgment can't be outsourced. For the AI economy, power isn't background scenery, it's the front door. The states that can build energy capacity, modernize the grid, make permitting predictable, and keep communities at the table will be in a seller's market for AI investment. States that can't do those things will watch the opportunity go somewhere else. Every generation gets handed a technology that changes history. The steam engine, the electricity, the automobile, aviation, the internet, and every generation gets to decide whether to lead with it or to get left behind by it. And I believe AI belongs on that list. But I also believe we're framing too much of the public conversation incorrectly. Too much of the conversation sounds like a scary bedtime story. AI will take every job. AI will destroy privacy. AI can't be trusted. I understand those fears, and I'm not naive enough to say that AI doesn't bring some risk, but so did electricity and automobiles and the internet. In 1901, Connecticut set the speed limit for cars at 12 miles per hour in the country and 8 miles per hour in town because lawmakers didn't believe people could safely travel faster than a trotting horse. We can't afford that kind of thinking about AI. The risks are real, but they're manageable, and they're not the whole story. AI is a productivity revolution and scientific accelerator unlike anything we've ever seen. We've barely begun to see some of the revolutionary, wonderful discoveries that AI is going to bring us. And it's a tool for better public services and a force multiplier for small businesses. I see this in the cybersecurity space every day, and I am literally awed by the capabilities it's bringing to us. Leadership in AI will be determined by who can power it, scale it, secure it, train the workforce for it, and govern it intelligently. The last word matters: intelligently, not emotionally, not symbolically, not with a one-size-fits-all mandate that sounds good in a committee hearing but fails in the real world. Good AI policy should encourage innovation, protect citizens, preserve competition, and avoid freezing tomorrow's technology into today's assumptions. AI policy can't be treated as a culture war slogan or a technical footnote. It's part of how states compete, how governments serve citizens, and how infrastructure is planned. And it's part of how America stays the best place in the world to build the future. So I'm a cybersecurity guy, and I'm legally required to talk about bad guys in hoodies and doomsday cyber threats. But I want to be clear about the tone. This isn't a panic speech, and it's not apocalyptic. Cybersecurity matters because trust matters. It matters because public services depend on digital systems, because water systems and hospitals, schools and transportation, utilities and manufacturers all rely on technology that's got to work when people need it. A cyber incident at a state agency isn't just an IT problem. It can delay benefits, disrupt licensing, expose personal information, and interrupt courts, schools, public safety, and emergency response. Like some of you, I've been in the hot seat and had to deal with that kind of cybersecurity fallout. A cybersecurity incident can turn a technology problem into a public trust problem almost instantly, and that's why the basics matter. The good news is that AI tools are getting better, and I've never been more optimistic about the security value we see from AI today. AI has changed the economies of cybersecurity by orders of magnitude, and it's massively valuable in a way we've never been able to see before. That's not a reason for complacency, though. It's a reason to stay grounded. We need to use AI where it helps defenders, but still keeps humans in the loop and accountable. Doing the basics well still matters because the bad guys don't take days off. So what questions should every state and local leader ask? This is Mark Weatherford's opinion here. These could be, you may have your own ideas. But first, does your state have a realistic plan for power demand? Not a slogan, an actual plan. What new demand is coming from AI, from manufacturing, from population growth, and from historical economic expansion? Where will new generation come from, and what are the transmission constraints? And how will households and small businesses be protected from surprises? Second, can good projects get to a yes or no on a predictable timeline? Uncertainty and delays cost money, and a permitting process should be rigorous but still predictable. Communities deserve transparency, but no one benefits when builders are trapped in endless cycles of bureaucracy. Third, are you building the workforce the AI economy in your state needs? AI and cybersecurity are not only jobs for four-year computer science graduates. We need community college pathways and apprenticeships. We need veterans and mid-career workers. We need people who understand power systems, construction, manufacturing, transportation, and local government operations. The future workforce is not only technical, it's cross-disciplinary. And fourth, is your government using technology to serve people better? Can citizens get answers faster? Can agencies reduce backlogs? Can fraud be detected earlier? That's kind of a hot topic these days. AI can help, but citizens need to know where it's used, who's accountable, and how to get human review when rights, benefits, or essential services are at stake. Fifth, if something goes wrong, would leaders know what matters most? Not every system is equal. The systems that keep people alive, safe, paid, housed, and protected need priority. That sounds obvious until an incident happens and everyone insists their system is mission critical. Those aren't technical questions, they're leadership questions. So let me get even more practical. This is your lane and your leverage. State and local leaders have direct leverage in 4 places. 1, make government a better buyer. Public procurement is one of the most powerful policy tools you have. I've been on both sides of the procurement process, and it can be agonized for both. The goal is to buy systems that work, can be defended, and can evolve, and not get buried in months or years of bureaucracy. 2, connect workforce programs to the real build-out. A data center project isn't just a building. It's a demand signal for electricians, plumbers, HVAC techs, builders, equipment suppliers, and long-term facility operators. If states align universities, community college, career and technical education, veterans programs, and local economic development teams, the benefits spread much further. 3, use AI where it helps public servants do their job better. This doesn't mean replacing human judgment with machines. It means giving people better tools. The public sector shouldn't be the last place modern productivity tools arrive. And 4, and most importantly, preserve trust. Citizens won't accept AI in government if they believe it's secret, biased, careless, or unaccountable. That means transparency about where AI is used. It means human review where rights, benefits, liberty, or essential services are at stake. It means privacy protection, auditability, open standards, and public documentation. And it means explaining the difference between using AI to improve public service and using AI to shadow responsibility. That distinction matters. Many of you are already seeing proposed AI bills, lots of them. I try to keep track of all of them, both at the state and the federal level, and it's overwhelming. Some are thoughtful and trying to solve real problems, but some are premature and trying to turn anxiety into headlines. My advice is simple. Regulate for reality, not for headlines. Start with harms that are concrete and focus on high-risk uses, and don't treat every AI use case the same. A chatbot that helps someone navigate a government website is not as important as an automated system affecting parole, benefits, employment, housing, or medical care. Because AI technology is changing so quickly, The worst thing policymakers can do is write laws that are rigid and out of date the day they're signed. You need policy that is serious enough to protect people and restrained enough to let America build. Let me close with something that I care deeply about. America has won every major technological era we chose to compete in. The electricity era, the aerospace era, the semiconductor era, and the internet era. We won because we built, we competed, we trained people, and we attracted talent. We allowed markets to work, we protected freedom, and when we got it right, we used technology in the service of our citizens. The last great age was powered by electricity. The next great age will be powered by electricity and intelligence. America has enormous advantages, the best innovators in the world, the best research institutions in the world, deep capital markets, workers who can build, and a system of government that lets good ideas spread. But advantages are only advantages if we use them. To fully commit to a mission, you have to burn the ships, no going back, and that's where we are with AI. The ships have already burned. The only question is what we build when we get to shore. This isn't about surrendering judgment to technology. It's about leading with conviction. And the most capable people I know are the ones who show up in rooms like this, not because it's easy, but because they understand what's at stake. So thank you for what you do, and thank you for your leadership.